Well, here we are at the bench again. I'm getting ready to do a new series using the 87 grain Vmax for 243. And if you haven't seen the video, the previous video to this one, I basically review the setup and how I measured that chamber and how I'll be resizing the brass for this gun. A little disclaimer on that. It's like some people want to bump the shoulder tooth out. Some people don't mind tight bolts and only neck size. And, you can do whatever you want. For me, what I've found is basically sizing the case to match the chamber dimensions as closely as possible in terms of the shoulder position. Gets a lot more life out of my brass. Now, so I have Lapua brass that's over 15 years old. I have no idea how many reloads are on that stuff, but it still works. It's just now starting to get some cracked necks, and I thought, you know what, I'll try some of this Starline stuff. So anyways, on to this. So I've already reloaded some cases here. So we got 87 grain Vmax. Let's see what our spread is here for the charges. Let's see. We are starting at 37.5 grains and moving all the way up to 41 grains in half grain increments. So it's a pretty wide range of powder loads, and it is all H4350. Cases are all the same size, same neck tension, and same seating depth, about 6 thou off the lands, which is just kind of where I always start. So already loaded up, ready to go. Got a couple Fowler rounds here. And again, if you haven't seen the video where I review my Remington 700 that we'll be using for this, check that out. All right, next clip should be at the range. See ya. All right, got a range day here. Going to do some shooting with the 87 grain Vmax with this 243. Weather conditions are pretty nice. About 0 wind and about 40 degrees. So it's a good day. Nobody's here, so we'll see what we get. All right, back from the range with a 243. Doing a little work with the 87 grain Vmax, using Hodgson H4350, which is kind of the go-to for that caliber. What we have here on the cards is, well, let's talk about the range of charge loads here. So the starting load at 37.5 grains and ending at 41 grains of H4350. And incrementing up in 0.5 grain increments. So let's kind of review the group size here. This is all shot at 100 yards. It's about 40 degrees today with no wind, so conditions were perfect. We got a 1-inch group here. We got a 0.4 inch group, a 0.73, 0.325, 0.2, a 1.1, a 0.33, and a 0.59 inch group. overall, very satisfied with this. And I'm kind of cheating a little bit. I used 87 grain Vmax all summer long, punching time cards on groundhogs. So I know 39 and a half grains will work for this thing. But I didn't have a chronograph when I did this before, or when I developed this load the first time. So I just wanted to, kind of double check that whole scenario. So if we look at the data, right? If we look at the data, we got average velocity and ranges, or extreme spread numbers. The velocity is the blue curve. The extreme spread or range within the groups is the red curve. And we see that we really don't have much of a node going on here. It's just a pretty linear increase in velocity as we increase our charge weight. There's a little juggle there, right around 38 and a half grains to 39, 0.5, maybe. That's really where, the average velocities aren't really telling us much here. But the range or extreme spread numbers are. Right, and you can see from 38.5 to 40 grains, our range between those shots, our velocity range really dips down to the single digits, right? So we're just below 10 on some of those. It's an excellent place to be. And again, I kind of know that. So it's good. We're going to live there. If we look at the groups, I mean, we topped out about an inch, and our lowest group was about 0.2 inches, which again is excellent. If you look at the card, if you look at the target again, right? The groups really from here all the way to 41 are excellent. This is a pulled shot here, so this group could even be better. This is an oddball. I have no idea what I did in terms of on the shooting bench or on the reloading table, right, to cause this, but I'm not too concerned about it because all the way around this is goodness. So I'm very happy with that. I think what I'm going to do next here is since I know I want to live here from the performance of this thing all summer long. I think at this stage of the game, the thing to mention and kind of the next logical step for me, once I get, kind of tuned into where I'd like to live, I won't change the powder. I might just load up 2 powder charges, but I'm not really going to change, too much from here. I know I want to live right here, and now is when I'm really going to dial in the seating depth. Okay, these were all generically set at 6 thou off the lands. It's kind of where I always start. So I think the next group I'm going to do a batch of 39 grains and a batch of 39.5 grains at H4350, and then I'll vary the seating depth for each batch and see what that does. Okay. So stay tuned. Good results like this doesn't mean we're necessarily done. We really need to shake this thing out. I really want to shake this out all the way so that, no kidding, I know when I load up my everyday, consistent and, the loads that I need to have confidence in, I know everything there is to know about these guys. So we're going to keep going and do a little seating depth stuff. Cases on this, they were all, it's worth mentioning that. I think there's a lot of confusion with this. Cases for these guys, everything was full length resized with a body die. So the body was completely full length resized. Shoulder was 2 thou bump on the shoulder, right? And then neck tension was set to 2 thou on that. Maybe I'll cover some of that detail in the next bit because we're getting down to the real fun stuff right now, because we know we've done the hard work and we've learned where we want to live. So maybe I'll do a little reloading section for the next clip. So stay tuned. This is a good one. This 87 grain Vmax is excellent out of this gun.